to another video where I'm talking about things coming to you live from planet Earth, third planet from the sun. I hope you're enjoying your time on this spaceship we call home, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope you're doing good things. That's what I hope you're doing. Jesus. Um, well, I don't know about you, but obviously the markets have had quite an interesting weekend, especially in crypto land, doing the things that they have done. And if you look at the new weekly time frame information for Bitcoin and a variety of altcoins, you will see that there are some very nice maneuvers loaded up, rearing to go. In some cases, they've already started making their maneuvers on the first day of this new weekly time frame. Bitcoin definitely has volatility and entropy on the weekly time frame that is set up some nice moves this week. Even if it looks to the upside, for example, it doesn't mean it can't go down and then up and then back down and back up during the course of the week, but it certainly is set for some nice movement this week because of the levels of volatility and the direction of it, as well as the correlation. Same thing with entropy and its correlation. If you look at the where the asset is in terms of the entropy and correlation, you can see it's set for very nice moves this week. Obviously, on lower time frames is where you make your actual entries and exits, but high time frame, it is set up and looking good for trading this week. And it doesn't matter which assets we're really talking about in the crypto space; they're all many of them are tied to each other in some way, shape, or form. Right? Meme coins are tied to their alts, and alts are tied either to like Ethereum or Bitcoin very often, a large percentage of the time, to the point where it's very easy to guess what a particular asset is probably doing when a certain other asset is doing something. Right? We all know if Bitcoin starts running up like crazy, other coins will also begin running up. Maybe not quite as pronounced, maybe more pronounced, maybe less pronounced. It all depends on the assets in question, but generally they'll be pegged. There'll be a lot of coins that are pegged to what Bitcoin is doing. Some will do the exact opposite of what it's doing, like on a regular basis because of the way that they're structured or created or whatever. Some of them will do, you have a whole variety. You got millions and millions of coins and tokens, right, in crypto space. Same thing with Ethereum, right? When Ethereum started moving around like crazy, obviously a lot of all those ERC coins, they will typically do what Ethereum is doing, more or less. Of course, you have such a huge universe of them that they don't all go up in lockstep, right? We don't trade according to the price, right? I'm just pointing out that generally speaking, when you see an asset moving up in price or moving down in price, if it's a top tier asset like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or arguably now XRP, Cardano as well, right? XRP, Cardano, Ethereum, Ripple, and Solana, and those are the 5 coins inside of the digital treasuries of the United States, right? With Bitcoin having its own strategic reserve and the others being part of a broader AI and altcoin and digital assets reserve. Right? So put all that together, you will very typically have parallel movements or in-kind movements or it looks like they're coordinated, but they're not necessarily coordinated trade for trade. They're more like, well, our bot trades a million different assets and every second, and so it buys a little bit of everything every second and sells a little bit of everything every second in different amounts in different directions across all assets. But when you generally have assets pegged to something, like a mothership kind of coin or whatever you want to call it, you very typically will see that kind of movement happening together, right? Now, again, the real reason they're moving is the volatility, entropy, probabilities, and statistics on each individual asset. But if you look at the assets and you look at the reads on their volatility and their entropy and their probabilities and statistics, you'll see that there are a lot of, I don't want to exactly call them parallels, but they kind of are. Very often when returns will be pretty down on something, on some altcoin or whatever, it's very likely that it'll be also down on similar altcoins or meme coins of it or whatever, right? That's just a normal, everyday part of trading assets that are in the same ecosphere, if you will, right? Sure, there'll be differences, but they'll be similar enough that they're close, and people will notice them, and then people will suggest, oh, there's a pattern there, when there isn't even a pattern there. There's just similarities of association, not guilt by association, but similarities of association. Hello there. What'd you say here? Ex-Muslim moment, Jindabad. Okay, what does that say? Abu Bakr? I don't understand, but anyway, good for you. Are you an ex-Muslim? Where am I roaming, brother? I'm roaming in the Holy Land, brother. I'm roaming in Israel at the moment. Just taking a bit of a constitutional at the moment, which is an old expression for I'm just having a walk, a digestive walk, or whatever you want to call it, after a quick meal. Yeah. So anyway, that is what's the long and short of what's happening with Bitcoin and the altcoin markets this week. They are definitely set to have some very nice maneuvers. If you look at the volatility and the entropy and the probability statistics, if you're not sure how to do that, check in to the Alpha Trading live streams. Those start at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday in the Alpha Trading Discord. And you get there by just going to the website of Alpha Trading, which is alphatradinghq.com, and clicking on the button that says Discord, which is at the top of the screen. You could also get there just by going to alphatradinghq.com/Discord. It will automatically just redirect you to the Discord. And by the way, note to anybody who goes into the Discord, if you see people in Discord using names similar to mine, it's not me. It's either me or I am the only me there. I have a username. If you are in Discord, you know what it is. If you are in our Discord, you definitely should know what it is, and you should not be answering messages from fakers who use similar usernames. There's a lot of people who fake my name on Discord. I mean, a lot. It's kind of ridiculous. It's almost hard to comprehend, except it's not, because the fact that I make content and put it out there obviously makes me the subject of an attack. The fact of where I'm located makes me even more of a subject of an attack. So we have fakers. All the co-founders of Alpha Trading have people faking our accounts. I'm probably one of the people they fake the most for some reason. I'm not sure. But if you get any direct message from me and we've never communicated before, I definitely didn't send it to you, because I don't send messages to random people on Discord, right? Without knowing who they are. I am messaging them without having some kind of previous discussions and or agreement that somebody would be sending somebody some message. I'm not sending you any messages on Discord. So don't click on any links, obviously, that you get in Discord, especially from people that you don't know. That should be day one lesson of how to use the Discords. And if you fail that, you shouldn't be allowed to proceed until you understand that. You should turn off all of your DMs in Discord, and only allow DMs from people that you actually know, which means that you need to manually approve any requests that are incoming. And you should, know ahead of time that any communications are incoming from anybody who wants to contact you. If you ever get a message from somebody and you think it's me or somebody else you think you know on Discord and you're not sure, ask them in a public channel. Hey, like in a public channel where you know they are as well. Hey, is this you? And then if you don't know how to check a Discord ID, well, that person should be able to check it for you and show you whether it's them or not. Because all you have to do is look at their profile in Discord and then match, compare the profile ID, like the Discord user ID, not just their Discord name, but their Discord user ID, with the one from the suspicious message that you're not sure about, and then go look at the profile of the person that you do know is the person that they say they are. You know, and I mean, you might not know that person, you might not know anything about that person, they might be faking everything, but at least you can compare the two user profiles, and if the Discord IDs don't match, then it's not the same person sending you a message, unless they specifically tell you from the original contact where they're, messaging you from or where you know them from, and you can verify that it's a real message and it hasn't been hacked. Right? If they tell you, yeah, I have two different Discord IDs with similar usernames, okay, that's also a possibility. That can also happen. Not as common, but some people do have multiple Discord IDs with similar names, but it is uncommon. And the reason that you shouldn't click on any of those links, even if it's someone you kind of know online, is because of the simple fact the moment you click on something on the internets, um, I know there are people who like to believe that you can't get a virus or something, you can't be phished just from visiting a page, but that's not true. The moment you enter a page, there are certain things that can happen. Even if you didn't enter any information onto that page, you still activated something by clicking on that link. You carried out a procedure, and in clicking that link, the link itself may contain something active, some dynamic tracking information or something else that literally like copies all of your keystrokes, right? It might have a keylogger or something similar to basically snag everything you're typing from your computer and just copy it and save it into a file on the cracker's computer. And then they have literally everything you've written since you got scripted by them. And while you may think, "Oh, I'm not a target. I'm not a valuable target. Why the hell would anybody attack me?" You don't need to be a valuable target in a high number sense, because the scripting is all automated. So they're not targeting you individually. They're blasting out thousands or even millions of spam messages, knowing that some percentage of people will just click on those links. And when they do, for example, if you have a crypto wallet, they can just drain your crypto accounts very easily if you give them access to enter your wallets. And then they'll just wait for the right time. They could do it immediately. They have all the information at once, but they could also just bide their time and get you when you least suspect it. It might be days, weeks, hours, months later, whatever. Don't know. Usually, they do it pretty quickly because you might change your password every once in a while, and some people do, but most people don't actually, which is why hackers or crackers, or whatever you're going to call them, find it quite easy to get into accounts of good people and take all their assets in very not nice ways. And it happens all of the time. And if you think it's rare, I mean, it's one of the most common things you can imagine. And you can say to yourself, well, if nobody does anything about it, why doesn't everybody do this? And the answer is, most people aren't totally scumbags. But second of all, unfortunately, it is actually a growing problem. Like, there are a lot of people who get scammed on a regular basis. And it's not because crypto is a scam. Crypto is not a scam per se. Crypto is just a mathematical formula or protocol designed to cryptographically sign transactions. That's really all it is on a technical level, right? That's really all it is. Like, it's not more complicated than that. You don't need to complicate it more than that. With that being said, people do use crypto to scam people. They use the allure of crypto. They use the false promises that are common in every medium and have always been around. Yeah, you think there weren't fiat currency scams promising you, "Hey, send me $1 and I'll send you two"? Like, of course there were, and there still are. Like, that's a very normal, BS promise that people see in the fiat world as well as in the crypto world. It's just that in crypto, it's possible to make it happen much more quickly just by phishing somebody's passwords to their wallets. In many cases, you don't even need their key phrase. Right? In many cases, you literally just need their password. Which, if you're in their computer, once you're in the computer, they may have their phrase quite literally stored in their browser. They might use some software or whatever that once you're in their computer, you can literally just copy all of their passwords to everything they own. Probably, you get into their bank accounts and all these other things. I know I've wandered off deeply from the discussion of will Bitcoin and alts bounce this week, but it's an important message to keep yourself safe from the crackers and hackers who want to do terrible things. What does it say? Show? Where are you roaming? Show what, brother? Show what? Show where I'm roaming? I am showing where I'm roaming. I'm roaming under a bunch of trees by some water. Do you not hear the water? Let me see if I can show you water. Here. Listen. Can you hear the water? Here, there's a little waterfall. There you go. Waterfall with lily pads, fish, big goldfish and smaller goldfish. You see? All kinds of lovely creatures here. Flowers and lilies. Over there you can see more goldfish. So, that's hopefully nice for you to see. A lot of different nice things here in Israel. I like fountains. Fountains are cool. I like water features. Water is cool. Water is nice. Especially when you live in Israel. Water is especially nice, as it is an especially hot and dry country. I really like that fact. When there are water features around, it's nice. I'm all for it, as the expression goes. If you know that song, if you know, you know. If you don't know, all good. Oh, hey. Hello. Setter. And then I go, there you go. So, anyway, folks, that's gonna kind of wrap it up for the topic here. If you guys have any questions, hey Dogo, Hey, buddy. Hey, good dog. He's a good dog. I like when the dogs approach. I definitely do love the dogs. You want to see where I am? Here you go. I'll show you. Grass, man, grass. Walking in the grass. Hmm? As you're wondering where I am, there you go. Walking in the grass. Like I said, I'm in Israel, and that's about all there is for me to say about that. So I hope you guys have a happy and safe week of trading. And yeah, again, once again, remember to join the live streams. We start at 9 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Normally, I mean, sure, there are days when we might start late or early or whatever. It's not our job to do these live streams. We just do them to educate people. But we typically start them on at a usual time, most of the time. And they are usually 5 days a week. I mean, yeah. Obviously, if there's like a bank holiday and no one's working and the markets aren't open, traditional markets aren't open anyway. Yeah, we might take a day off. But even on some holidays we do, or even some weekends, sometimes we'll do a live stream here and there. Why? Why do we do that for free? Well, we do it for free to educate people about how to trade with the VEPs. And it's not for everybody. And we'll show the charts, we'll show our indicators on those charts, we'll give you a good read of a workflow on any particular asset that we're reading, and basically inform you about how to use those indicators to actually trade those particular assets. You know, um, and that's again all for free. Why? Because all of us who started off trading are frankly sick of seeing people getting wrecked trying to trade badly. And you shouldn't trade badly, right? You should use leading information and make decisions based on actually what's happening and what is about to happen, as opposed to trying to guess based on silly information that has nothing to do with anything, like drawing silly patterns on charts or trying to use price based indicators as your main source of information to like read the markets, which is a huge mistake because markets are not running based on price. Markets are all about the returns. Right? I mean, if you don't get that, you don't understand markets. Not one thing about it. Markets are based on the returns. Right? The reason investors invest in markets of any kind, of assets of any kind in any market, is for the returns. The reason that traders trade assets of any kind is for the returns. Now, they think of it as, well, just gains, profits. Sure, but what are those profits based on? Profits are based on the percentage of your returns, right? How much did your returns go up or down or sideways? That's what you make your money on, or lose your money on. It's also based on the returns. Do you have positive returns or negative returns? If you have negative returns, you should stop, reevaluate, recalculate, and then make your next decision. Should you continue trading or not? Is there an occurrence of opportunity or not? For most people, I would say there is not, based on their habits. Bad risk management, inability to take profit early and often, inability to limit loss, and inability to not be emotionally attached to their trades. Right? Those are the key things you need to do. Right? If you don't have really good tight risk management, you should just stop. You should not proceed. You need to first understand risk management, and we teach you that for free during our live streams. Why? Again, we are sick of seeing good people get wrecked. I mean, like, have I made it clear enough? We are sick of seeing good people get wrecked. Okay, we don't want to see it anymore. And we know it'll always happen, but we want to reduce the amount that it happens to. And even if it's one by one, because we know we're never going to be the most popular way to trade. We understand that. We get that. We know most people are masochists and they want to lose money and they want to feel pain. If you don't believe me, look at the amount of people who get wrecked every day. Look at the amount of people who get wrecked every 90 days. Look at the amount of people who get wrecked every point in between. You'll see very quickly people tend to lose their shirts when they're trading because they suck at trading. When prices drop, they get nervous, so they're too scared to buy. Because they're like, well, what if it drops further? That's because they have poor risk management and they don't understand how to read the VEPs. They're reading it based on price dropping and not what the returns are doing. If the returns have bottomed out and have nowhere to go but up, and the correlation also, well, then the price is probably going to go up too. Same thing with the volatility. The volatility is completely collapsed. And the correlation is too, and they both have nowhere to go but up. Very good probability price is going to go up. And there's 6 tendencies you got to learn for volatility and for entropy trading. They happen to work great. Also with returns, with our returns oscillator, right? That's why I mentioned it. But yeah, you can get the free volatility and entropy cheat sheet that shows you and teaches you those 6 tendencies. It's right in our Discord server, free to join. And you can even just watch our live streams, right? Like, we're not asking you for anything. You don't have to sign up to anything special to be in our Discord, other than obviously you need to have a Discord user that's verified or whatever, like a real Discord account. That way you can verify that you accept the rules when you get into our server or whatever. You got to click the whatever check mark icon or something like that in the rules. Because if you don't, guess what happens? Every once in a while, our security bot will come around, or our bounce master in chief will come around, and you don't want to not verify the rules, because then he will bounce master your butt out of the server quicker than you can say bounce master. And you won't get permanently banned. But if you can't click the simple button that says verified or whatever, or just the check mark or whatever icon it is in the rules channel below the rules, especially since we've given you all that information in the very first thing you see when you log on to our Discord server, well then, you're ignoring the very basics of how our Discord operates, and yeah, you don't get to stick around. You can try again, no problem. Until you click that verified button, you might be in there for some time, but eventually you're gonna get booted, because we don't take kindly to people who don't accept the rules. Now, we could make the argument that, well, by definition, you accept the rules because you're in our server, and that is true. You do actually accept the rules by default just because you're in the server. But that doesn't mean that we don't want you to be active. We want you to be active. Clicking a little button is like the first sign of life, because otherwise you could just be a bot that automatically joins a Discord and then just sits there and does nothing but annoy people or spam people. So that's why we require you to accept this manually, in addition to the fact that, yes, you've accepted them being there in the first place. But by clicking the E-Verify rule, you demonstrate that you're probably maybe a human. And second of all, it's your way to start engaging with the server. Once you click that rule, by the way, once you click you've accepted the rules, you should then go to the request support channel. And in the request support channel, you should request your free access to our volatility starter pack, which includes a whole bunch of like 4 different volatility indicators that you can learn to trade volatility with. And even comes with a pre-populated chart, and you get access to a whole bunch of different channels and support from people in the chat, etc. So there's no shortage of benefits to doing that, right? Good reasons to do that. So do that. Come to the server, request your free tools. Get them, they're free. Learn to trade for free because it's free. Don't put any money on the line until you've seen for yourself that our tools work and you know how to use them. Use the practice servers on various exchanges. Try it. It's fun. It's free money. They use the virtual money, like fake money, and you can play with up to whatever it is. They give you maybe $5,000, $100,000. Doesn't matter. It's fake. It doesn't matter. Just some number they give you to play with, and you learn how to size your positions and trade this and that and stuff. Anyway, do that. And yes, those are jet fighters flying by. Hopefully, it will be safe and peaceful here, and not a crazy day. But yeah, that's gonna do for now, folks. Take care, and again, happy trading. Hope to see you in the Discord in a couple hours, whenever that is. 9 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Okay, folks. See ya.